Welcome to the My Creative Days podcast, where we will talk about all things DIY, home decor, decorating tips, and creating a beautiful home on a budget. I am hoping our time together will spark a creative idea, help you plan your next DIY, or inspire you to finally tackle that project you keep putting off. Grab your favorite cup of motivation and let's chat. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today, I want to talk about if you are somebody that is trying to grow a social media account around a business, which if you've heard any of my podcasts before talking about this, you know that I highly suggest and I want to encourage you to start some kind of social media presence if you have a business. Everybody is online. Every business is on social media or has some kind of social media presence. So it is definitely something that needs to be on your radar if you have thought about starting a business. You want to grow the business you've already started. You just want to, you're just thinking of ways that you can get your name or your business out there. I coach people on how to grow a furniture flipping business. And so I tell everybody that comes through my academy that, social media needs to be part of your game plan. Now, something that has come up a lot recently is, I want to grow on social media. But how do I stay consistent? That is my number one thing that I tell people about growing a social media account, or even like a website, is to stay consistent. Consistency is key in business. And not only is it like, if you think about your favorite stores, right? You know that you can go there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and they're going to be open, right? If you went on a Tuesday and they were closed, you'd be like, what? This isn't supposed to happen. You need to run your business kind of the same way. And staying consistent will keep you motivated, and it'll teach you a lot about your business. So today I just wanted to give you a few tips for ways that you can stay consistent. And I want to start this off with, I don't care what the consistency looks like for you. So when I say stay consistent, I do not mean that you have to post every day, every hour, on the weekends, at night, in the mornings. I'm not saying that at all. All that consistent means is you need to figure out what you can reasonably do. And I'm going to get into this a little bit, but, and just stick to that. And in the beginning, start out slowly. Don't put a ton of pressure on yourself, especially if you're trying to start a business while you're working a full-time job, while you're trying to raise kids. You need to figure out what is realistic for where you are, the season you're in right now, and what you're trying to grow, and just stick with that. So I say, if Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, it works for you, that's great. If it's a Monday and Wednesday, that's great. Whatever it is good as long as you stay consistent with it. And so that your audience starts to know, okay, I know that she is going to put out new content every Monday and Wednesday. I'm going to look for that content every Monday and Wednesday. And it will even pop up in their feeds if it's good content, which that's a whole nother podcast. Your content needs to be good. I'll kind of talk about that a little bit here too, but so it will, people that will engage on your content, if they engage on it all the time, even if you're just posting twice a week, your content will come up in their feed first when you do post, if that makes sense. So whatever consistent looks like to you, that's okay. That's good. Do not compare your consistency to somebody else that posts every day, twice a day, 3 times a day. That's not your consistency. You're starting to look at other people and what they're doing, and you're not on that same journey, right? You're on your own. So you need to pick out what is consistent for you and stick to that, okay? So number 1, create a content calendar. So inside my Furniture Flipping Academy, I actually give every student that's inside a full year of a content calendar. So all the social media is planned out and done for them throughout the whole year. So it's just something, if you can sit down and maybe take an hour a month, depending on it, obviously it'll depend on what your consistency is. If your consistency is, a couple times a week, or a couple times a week, then that is, let's say if there's 4 weeks in a month, that's 8 times, right? So you need to come up with 8 posts, 8 reels, 8 stories, 8 videos, depending on what platform you are trying to grow. But if you think about it, that's only 8, right? So there's only 8 posts that I need to come up with for the month. And if you can sit down before every month starts and get all those 8 done, then it's like a breeze, right? You don't have to think about it on those days. Like, oh, it's Friday tomorrow and I'm supposed to be posting. What do I post? Sit down and take a half an hour, 2 hours, depending on how often you're going to post. And you can get the entire schedule, whatever it is that you set up, done. And it just relieves so much stress, because I'm telling you, I've been doing this a long time, and there are just those days when you don't have things scheduled or planned out ahead, when you wake up and you're like, I'm not even motivated to open my app today, let alone try to inspire or create good content for this, right? You're going to come to those days. So to have it already done, or to, have a calendar already created for you, it's like a game changer, right? So, but it's just to have that, calendar and just to have it planned ahead, it's just going to make a big difference in keeping you consistent, right? So you don't have an excuse on that random Friday when you're like, I don't even know what to post. What do I post? What do I ask? It's not going to be good content. It's already done. So that's going to keep you consistent. Number 2, set realistic goals. And that's, I've already talked on that. Whatever you can make work right now is great. That may change in a month. It may change in 6 months. It may change in a year. Whatever you can do right now, that's your realistic, that's your consistency. That's realistic, and that's what you can stick to. And don't overshoot it. If you're thinking 2 a week, don't say, I could probably do 3. Start with 2. And get really good at it. Get really good at those 2, and then add another day. As your time frees up, or just as you could see that, okay, this isn't so bad. Maybe I could do a 3rd day. Choose a posting schedule. So this will also keep you consistent, and you can schedule depending on, again, what platform you are, you're trying to grow. You can schedule your content ahead of time. And that's what I do, like on all of my Facebook posts, some of my Instagram. I have grown my Facebook to over 200,000 followers by scheduling content. And in the beginning, I'm going to be completely honest with you, I was scheduling content every hour. From 6 a.m. to I think it was 10 p.m. I was scheduling content, and people that knew me like personally would say, "Oh, you post every hour. Like, are you just?" I am not sitting at my computer and posting. Oh, it's 3:00. I got to post something. No, on the back end, I am scheduling all that content so that it goes out on a schedule that I have set up. I do not post that often on Facebook anymore. But I still do it consistently. So determine the best times to post based on your audience, when they're active, but also, again, be realistic with your schedule. If you're working a 9 to 5 and you don't have your phone, or you can't schedule, or you can't post, don't your schedule is going to be 6 p.m. or whatever it is. So because another thing with social media is you don't want to post and ghost, meaning you don't want to post and then just walk away. You do want to spend a little bit of time in the app and answering questions, or, when people respond or they start engaging with your post, you want to kind of be there for a few minutes after you post, just to kind of keep up with that engagement. So definitely set a posting schedule. Set your realistic goals, your realistic time, your realistic, when you can post, and then how often you can post, and then create a content calendar. Those are 3 ways that are going to keep you consistent. Another great one is to batch content. If you've ever heard that word before, that just means, like, my days are usually scheduled out where it's like, okay, today I'm recording 4 podcasts. And so I sit down and I will batch record 4 podcasts. Today is going to be a filming day, so I am going to get 3 YouTube videos done today. Blog posts, if we have things to do for social media campaigns, or, partnerships or brands, or the like I said, the academy, there's different parts of what I do. And so for me to get those things done, it's to batch create content. And so for social media to stay consistent, batch create it. So when I said, take like an hour and sit down and schedule, your 8 posts for the month, batch the content as well, right? So like you're creating during that hour as well. It's not like you're just scheduling. So you just get it all done, set an hour aside, and get all the content done, the caption, the photo, the video, whatever it is. And then you can just stockpile that content so it's ready to go when you need to schedule it or you need to post it. That is just going to make it so much easier for you to stay consistent, right? Especially when you run into those days, like I said, where it's like you're super busy that day, or you're just not inspired that day, or you're not motivated that day. You have no excuses because it's already done. Quality over quantity with social media all the time. And so don't just post to post a ton of stuff, right? You're trying to grow an authentic audience. So you really want quality content to be going out. So you want to either entertain your audience, you want to educate your audience, you want to, you want to give them something that they're looking for that will help them, that will make them come back to your account to say, I need to follow her because, it's so helpful, or she's got the best recipes, or, her furniture pieces turn out amazing. I want to learn how to do that. Whatever it is, make sure that your content is quality over quantity. It's better to post high quality content less frequently than it is to post mediocre content too often. So consistency is super important, and I want you to stay consistent, but the quality of your content should never be compromised, right? So if you notice that starting to be compromised, you can always pull back as well. So if you're posting 3 times a week, go down to 2, because it's better to post the quality content over quantity. Another thing I kind of talked about is engaging with your audience, and you're thinking, I want to stay consistent. Like now I have to engage. And it's funny because when you start engaging with your audience and start to know them, start to see what they really are, the kind of content that they are, commenting on or sharing or liking, you really kind of grow this community and like this friend group that it kind of motivates you to stay consistent. Like, oh my gosh, every time I post that, that gel stain that I use on my furniture pieces, everybody reaches out to me about what it is, or like they want to do a project like that, or like they really like this stuff. And so it does give you a little motivation and a little shove to be like, okay, I'm going to start posting more often, or I'm going to stay consistent with this. I'm really learning this audience. I'm really forming a community. We're like friends here. So it just kind of gives you that little bit of, you start to know them, and it's kind of like a friend group. So you want to continue to post, right? So engaging with your audience will help you stay consistent. Utilize scheduling tools. So again, depending on which platform you're posting on, there are different scheduling tools out there. Some platforms don't like scheduling tools, so definitely look into that to make sure you're using a scheduling tool that the platform recognizes and is okay with. But again, it's a game changer for staying consistent and just having things done and batch created and scheduled ahead of time, so you have no excuse for staying consistent. Repurpose content. So this is a huge one, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time you post, right? So repurpose the content you already have. So maybe it's a reel you did. Can you turn that into a longer form video? Maybe it's a post you did, like a carousel post. Could you turn that into a reel? It's like the percentage of your followers that actually see your content is so small. It's like 7% of your audience actually sees your content. And it's like they have to see the content 7 times to actually like recognize it or like really pay attention to it. It's crazy, like the numbers and the percentage behind all of that. But so don't be afraid to repost something or to repurpose content, because a lot of your followers did not see it the first time. And somebody that may have seen it the first time, maybe just kind of scrolled by it. But this way you repurposed it, it's going to make them stop and actually consume it. And so that is, it's a great way to also kind of A/B test your audience so you can see, okay, the carousel post with this didn't do well, but the reel, when I put it kind of all together in like a video format, it did really well. So my audience really likes this, or, Instagram's really pushing this out. So it's just repurposing. It's great for, getting more content when you don't want to have to create all new content, but it's a good way to kind of see what your audience likes and dislikes. Okay, stay authentic. So this is another thing. So to be completely honest, I have not been in the whole, I used to be in front of the camera every day, all day long with everything I did and on my social media accounts. And as we started the Furniture Flipping Academy and my business has changed, I'm pulled away more from the social media and having time to do all that. So now sometimes I find it hard to get into stories and things because I'm like, what am I going to share with them? What do I have to say today? Sometimes it's like, I just don't feel inspired. I just don't feel like I want to be in front of the camera. I really have just been sitting in front of my computer all day or creating videos or helping, flippers in the academy. So I really don't I'm just tired. You know what I mean? So I don't post those days, right? I want to stay authentic. I don't want to come on and just, just post to be posting because my audience is going to see right through that, right? So you definitely want to stay authentic, and that will keep you consistent, especially when you are posting about things that you're passionate about, that you love, that you're living, that you're, what your business is, whatever it is. When you're authentic to those things, it's a lot easier to stay consistent because it's something that you could talk about forever. So just remember to always stay authentic when you are posting because it'll help you stay consistent. Definitely. These other two I'm going to kind of skip because, yes, okay, I'm just going to skip those two. So another one that I wanted to talk about is collaborating and partnering with, either other creators on the app, maybe it's brands and companies. But if you have those kinds of things, it kind of makes it exciting, right? So if let's just say you're in a furniture flipping group and 5 of your friends are all going to paint a dresser in the same color. And so you can all kind of share each other's, project or whatever in the end, but it kind of makes it just that little something unexpected or just something more fun to do. When you work with brands and companies, that also keeps you consistent because it's exciting. They're actually paying you to paint that dresser or, use that sander or apply that stain, whatever it is. So that kind of helps you. It just kind of gives you, instead of just your regular content, it's kind of something a little extra, something a little exciting to kind of add to your content that will definitely keep you consistent. Okay, the other two were basically stay informed. So this one, it's just, I don't want to frustrate you, or I don't want to, what do I want to say? It's not a bad light. It's just what it is. And I would tell you over and over and over again to have a social media presence for your business. So keeping up with the current trends is part of the job, right? And they change all the time. Every single app changes all the time. So you just have to stay informed. So earlier I was talking about Reels, versus carousel posts. Instagram became totally different. It used to just be, the still photos, the pretty photos, and then it became all about Reels, and that's what they were pushing out, and that's what they were showing people, and that's how you were growing if you jumped on the Reel bandwagon. And so there is some of that riding the tails of what the social media platforms are changing and what's trending, but it shouldn't. Don't let that deter you from posting or starting to grow a social media presence, because it shouldn't. You definitely get in the flow of it. You definitely learn it. And it'll be good for your business. It'll be good for your business. So definitely stay informed with those things. Another thing is to monitor analytics. And the reason I didn't want to bring this up is because I don't want you to worry about the number behind your name. I've said it 1,000 times. It is so much better for you to have 100 engaged followers than 1 million followers that never show up for your content. I'm telling you, even when you're working with brands and companies, if you have an engaged audience, that is so much better than having a large audience. So, but it is kind of, look at your analytics every month or every couple of weeks. Don't be obsessed about it, but you can kind of see a lot about your audience. And you can adjust your strategy and how you're posting based on the data that you're getting. And that will kind of help you stay consistent. Just because you're learning more about it, you're learning more about your audience, you're seeing what's working, what's not working. And it can be kind of fun. And you may find that it's not frustrating to you at all. Like you really enjoy the whole process. And so obviously, if that's you, you're going to stay consistent. So these are just a few little tips that I thought I'd share. This question came up recently, and social media is something that I could talk about forever and ever. And so if you have any other questions or things that you're struggling with, you'd like me to cover here, please reach out to me, Lindsay@mycreativedays.com, or on Instagram @mycreativedays. And I would be happy to answer them here. I will not share your name or anything, but I always say, if one person has a question or a struggle, then more people have the same question or are struggling with the same thing. So please don't be shy. Reach out. I would love to help you, and then help other people as well as they're listening to the podcast. So until next time, I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you very soon. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm grateful that you tune in every week and that you share the show with your family and friends. I love having creative chit chats with you, and my hope is that this podcast will inspire you to try a new project, start a DIY that you've been putting off, and decorate your home exactly how you want it. There are a few ways you can help us with the podcast. Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you could take a few minutes to leave the podcast a review, that would help us so much. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to our chat next week. Bye-bye.